All right, guys, what is going on? Needs more drums back in our city of Percusion in the region of Los Baterías. And today we are finally going to get over to this other side of the river here and build up this little area here that I was talking about for the past couple episodes. Our residential demand still isn't very high, but I thought, yeah, see, it's not, so it's still not very high, but I thought that we did bring down our industry demand just a little bit with the area that we've built here. And as you will see, literally as soon as I stopped recording the last episode, my mining area leveled up. So I was like, you know what? We got this new building, this rotary kiln plant that produces metals. And I was wondering what to do with this area. So I rearranged the roads a little bit and ended up just putting it right here. And the reason that I've done that is because, one, there was no place up here to put it. I want to keep this like reserved for the mining anyway, and I don't want to expand any more, any more past this border here, because that would just be a waste of a tile. There's really, obviously there's nothing we could do there. So couldn't find a place for it there. Didn't want to put it, well, I couldn't put it anywhere else because since it's a processing building, it has to be placed within the industrial area, the specialized area. So I couldn't have put it, over here or anything like that. But this is kind of the best we got. And what I thought would be cool is, I remember one time I saw in one of $2.20 series when he was building his Louisiana inspired city. I forget the name of it at the moment. I can't think of it, but it was like a very quick build, not like nothing too crazy. He did sort of similar to what I'm doing here, where he started off just building a city from square one, and kind of playing the game organically and letting the city grow organically. And it was, it was cool. It was a cool little series. It was short, but anyway, long story short, he had some barges that he found and was using in that series. So I thought that would be something cool, maybe in the future, just kind of leaving this as a placeholder. I would imagine that there might be some barges transporting some of this, ore material from the mines down to the plant, or, eventually down to whatever port or industrial area we're going to have going on down here. And I know that will need some work, and these railroad bridges would obviously need to be higher, but luckily barges don't need a ton of clearance, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Mainly just just these two are kind of the only ones that I see right now that might have to be adjusted. Even that's probably fine, and this one too, but nonetheless, something to look forward to in the future. Just kind of, left a placeholder there for now. But yeah, I'm really happy with this area. It's probably going to be done for now, so we can, move on from that. There's no need to spend any more time over there until we want to expand the mines, up here and stuff. But yeah, for now, that's pretty good. So what I want to do today is finally get over here to this other side of the river. And what I like about this area is that it's still pretty much considered like the downtown. So we'll get away with some higher density buildings, nothing super crazy, but maybe some stuff kind of like these. I was envisioning right here sort of like some kind of housing development, and then across from the hospital, maybe putting even some commercial zones here and a couple of residential or wherever. But yeah, since it's not going to be a super long build, I think that I'm just going to keep it as a live play, and we'll just get started right now. So the first thing that I always like to do when I am planning out one of these builds, is to kind of think about obviously the road layout. And in this case, I don't really want to do, there doesn't need to be anything super significant, since I kind of want to make this, like I said, like a housing development. So I think I'm just going to have kind of one road that will stretch in here, and that's probably going to be about it. I don't really see anything, maybe I'll bring this kind of along the river here, just so that these buildings can actually face the water. But yeah, I'm not going to have any sort of, oh, I don't want that. That's disgusting. I guess we'll just leave a little bit of a gap there, and I can probably fix that terrain in a minute. So maybe something like this is going to be a little bit better. Cool. And I do like with this kind of stuff, I do like to follow sort of the curvature of the other things that are already in the area. So in this case, the river kind of has a curvature to it. This key has a curvature to it. So I'm thinking that I might just kind of follow that and it'll make it look a little bit more, natural in the landscape. So now what I want to do is go into find it here and just take a look at some of the assets that I have. And so I do have a lot of custom assets in this build, not as many as I've used before before I started recording any series, but there's still quite a bit in here. And I think what we could do here is I want to make some sort of, I know I've said it like 50 times, but I want to make some sort of housing development where there might be a couple of similar buildings here, and then maybe some along the river that are a little bit different. But at least like in this part, I think it would be cool to sort of have a couple of like the same buildings. So this is looking pretty cool, like this modern low-rise condo, or even this one, this low-rise condo, having a couple of these maybe like here, and let's see, putting those there for now. And then what I can do is use move it to kind of spread them out a little bit, and this will, and then we can connect all these up kind of with some pedestrian pathways, and I think that would look really cool, and sort of have just this area of a couple of condos. I figure that these would be pretty nice and pretty good, cool spot to live. Yeah, so we'll have that little condo complex there, and then I think in this corner I'll put down that this little that other low or mid-rise condo that I had. I can find out where it is. That's a cool little building for right there, and then we could put a little commercial building kind of along the side here too. And I'm wondering if we can even use some of these wall-to-wall commercials. Nah, probably not. Not for now. And that's always a little trick that I like to do is, use move it to kind of bring the buildings together, because then it gives the effect that it's sort of one building instead of two. Even though you can clearly see that it's two buildings, but if I'm a little bit more careful about it, then it actually doesn't look as bad, like that. Perfect. And then like to make them the same color, as long as there's not a ton of clipping going on, which there's a little bit there, but that's not too noticeable at all. So we'll just leave this like this and move on to here. And so here, I figure I want to put a few of the taller buildings. You figure that this is kind of right on the river. There might be some more expensive apartments, and some people with a little bit more money living here. So that is why I'm going to choose maybe some more of these modern type buildings. And I haven't really placed a lot of these yet. And so this is kind of a cool spot to do that, but I don't want to go too tall. Like, something like that is going to be really big for this area, but something like this that's kind of modern and new will look pretty good here. And again, even some of these vanilla buildings will do the job just fine. Maybe this one, I always like this building. I think this is a really good looking asset. And even something like this kind of gives the sort of gives the vibe that we want. So actually what I also like to do sometimes is, move is just such a great tool. If you don't have it, like, and you're on PC, I know that console players, I'm sorry you don't have all the nice mods that we have, but I would highly recommend getting it. It's just amazing. Yeah, so for something like this, it's cool to kind of have the buildings be kind of like a pair, and then you can make them the same color, and voila, we have a nice little housing development here across the river. So yeah, so I'm gonna have this here, and then let me just detail some of it up really quick, nothing too crazy. And I mean, for builds like this, I really just like to keep the detail pretty simple. Just a couple of pathways, a couple of trees, and you'll see that it actually makes a huge difference, and it takes literally no time at all. Yeah, and so I think that looks pretty good for that area. I really like how that turned out. And now we can move on to this spot across the street and by the hospital. So here, I think I'm just going to plop down a couple more, just a little bit bigger residential buildings. I think that this is an okay spot to do that since, you know, I mean, I know it is kind of next to this road, but I'd imagine that these people are probably going to be fine with a little bit of the noise since they are living in the downtown. And then finally along this road, I'm thinking that it might be beneficial to have a little bit more commercial rather than just residential, or maybe even a couple of offices here. And this fire station, I think I'm going to replace this fire station with a different one because now that this area is a little more dense, it kind of doesn't really look like it belongs here. So let's go ahead and pick out a few buildings to put down here. And so I'm thinking, yeah, like something maybe, you know, like this would probably look good. And of course we can have here, we can have, you know, maybe like some kind of pathway or something, since this is a pedestrian. Well, since, you know, this is still the pedestrian area, but I figured like around here, you know, there might not be a lot of buildings kind of built up here yet, just because I want to keep this, at least up until this point, keep this a main road so that there's not a lot of traffic on it. You know, I don't want to place buildings directly on this road until, like, you know, we get down here. As you can see, like these I'm fine with, but here I kind of want to leave up until this intersection building free. So I'm going to put everything on this road, and whatever, you know, ends up going on, I'm not sure what we're going to do about this open space here, but for now we can at least, you know, place down some of these. And you know what I actually always forget about that's really, really useful in some of these areas is these, where are they here? I'll just search for them. So if you look up the eco buildings, like the eco residential, the eco-friendly ones from the Green Cities DLC, a lot of these are actually really, really nice looking buildings, and they fit in really well with, you know, some of these more modern areas. So I might actually put a couple of these down in this area, and like, doesn't it just looks so cool? You know, I feel like they kind of fit with what we're trying to do in this waterfront area here. So I'm going to put down a couple of these right here. Why not? And then I left this space open here to put like a pathway, just so that people can have easier access to the hospital. If they're coming from this pedestrian area, they can simply just cross here. Even though this is actually a main road. So what I might do instead of that, I'm gonna make a pedestrian bridge, because I think that would be much more useful than just the regular pedestrian crossing. And I think we can actually make use of this space here too. So why don't we do this? Let's start here, and we can elevate the pathway right between the trees, back down, and then have this connect up right like that. So now people won't, and I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the crosswalks from this junction, because I don't want people crossing over this main road here. If they want to cross, they can use the pedestrian bridge, and I think that's fair, you know, because, you know, the whole point of not putting buildings on that road was to not have traffic, and why should traffic stop for pedestrians when they can easily just access it from this instead? I'll actually even extend that pathway all the way out there to that pedestrian path. So now we have a nice little walkway, and this can kind of be, you know, a cool little area. I'll put some trees and maybe a fence and some trees here so that people can feel, you know, it's a little bit more of a peaceful walk than walking through some concrete jungle. And another thing too that's nice about this is that, you know, with people living here, people on this street or on this pathway can feel a little bit safer because they can be seen. I know that's actually a big thing, you know, when you're thinking about kind of urban planning and such. You know, people always want to be, I guess don't always want to be seen, but, you know, people feel safer in walking in areas where they feel like they can be seen, and they can be, you know, if something, you know, it just reduces the risk of crime, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like these trees, even though they're a little bit bigger, they don't completely block the view. So that is something that we want to keep in mind. And also I want to put some bushes lining this fence, since I feel like the trees would be a little bit too close to the road. Just give a nice little hedge there. I feel like that's always a nice touch. And then this spot I actually left intentionally open, because I'd like to put, let me see if I can find like a cool little plaza to put here. Actually, this one might be a pretty good fit. Yeah, I think that's exactly the type of thing that I was looking for. Cool. So yeah, so this area can be kind of a nice little spot for people to come and sit. And it's got these nice little statues and benches. Yeah, just that's actually perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Nice. That looks pretty nice. And man, some must be going down by my house. I hear a bunch of a bunch of sirens right now. Oh man, gotta love it. But yeah, that looks pretty good there. And actually, you know what I want to do too. I'm just gonna, just because I can. Sometimes these I got these nice little garden assets, and I haven't used them yet, and I kind of want to place some of them down. They bring a little bit of color. You know, got these purple ones, and maybe like some of these white ones around here might look nice. Yeah, that is a nice little plaza. I'm really happy with the area. But yeah, I mean, this is just a place that's been needing a little bit of a work done here, and so I'm really happy that we got this built now. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead too, and I don't think we need these stoplights. I know this is kind of a main road, but like not really. It's not super busy yet, so we'll revisit that if it becomes very busy. But yeah, I really like how that turned out. And now just kind of looking at this area as a whole, you know, this part of the downtown is really coming together quite nicely. And I'm excited to start working in this area soon, because then we can finally get to, you know, this rest of the waterfront here and this part here. And, you know, yeah, just this whole downtown, we'll start putting down some way taller buildings. But yeah, for now, I actually like where we're at. And actually, know what I'm going to do? I want to put down another fire station since we had to remove that last one. I'm thinking like something like this that's a little bit more suited for an urban setting would look really nice. But since I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with these areas yet, I might actually just go ahead and put it down like right here. Yeah, I think that works for now. Obviously, this area is only temporary. This is purely just because we needed to boost our population pretty early on. But yeah, all of these are probably gonna stick around. So I'm really happy that we finally got to build this area. It looks really good. I like it. And I think that is probably where I'm just going to leave the episode for today. I know it's a little bit shorter one, but that's kind of all I wanted to do. I just I haven't had much time lately to record. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. But I will come back in the next episode and we will start. I'm going to make no promises because you never know what can happen. But I'm wondering if we need to do some more infrastructure work on our garbage situation, our waste management. That might come in the next episode, or I might kind of start making my way down here and building out this area. I have some cool ideas for what to do here based on kind of some you know, Chicago things and some things about kind of around, you know, that I've seen, like where I live, some cool inspiration for this. So yeah, I'm actually excited to get working down in this area. It's gonna be cool. But for now, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you in the next episode. See ya.